Hello everybody, this is Charles Anderson. I'm just a guy from Goodwill, Oklahoma, and I've got a really great video game idea. Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of finalizing, getting some bugs out of the way, and I was in the middle of alternately creating a raster because apparently the image format that comes in is like HSV alpha in Windows, and so my output was looking odd, so I'm going to have to, put it to the standard ARGB, so I can use get pixel or get RGB from the incoming and have like a standard to process with in my float arrays. So while doing this is rabbit hole time for me. I discovered on this sample model, I was like, seriously, the bands are numbered from 0 to n minus 1. So basically, you could have a sample model that involved not only red, green, blue, alpha, but because we're working with 3D models, also have normal surface normal in the x direction, y direction, and z direction for another three, possibly, and of course because the colors are understood as diffuse. Complete, diffuse, just as long as light can hit it, it'll do that. And then you have like a specular reflectivity value for this pixel, and then next space like the other channels. You could have a what is it? Red, green, blue, and strength on the specular. That way you would have like what are those cars that have different colors because the light's hitting it at some weird? Oh wait, no. Best example for that yet. Oil slick in water. It has the red and green and blue separated so that you have an iridescent. Yeah, so you could have like three color channels in this sample model, and have an iridescent sheen to it, and it's all packed up. The only reason now, this is the interleaved, which just has one bank, and of course, because it's interleaved on the pixel, then it's red, green, blue, da 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 da, and you also have to specify the offset to the next pixel, somewhere on the constructor pixel stride, and then if you were to go one line down, it'd probably be dependent upon the height, the scan stride, then how to go one line down, and then different offsets. But yeah, so I was like, wow, you could really make just something that had a whole bunch of bands for a 3D model. And I mention this for people looking to obfuscate their assets, because obviously you're making something that is not standard. You would have to plug it into your GPU code, the vert and frag shaders. You'd have to write your own vert and frag shader for it, because all of this information would be available as one memory object for the GPU to glom onto. But yeah, so I loved it, and of course most people, for the ones who just don't want to go through all the headache of offsets and all that stuff, they have the banded sample model where each channel is stored in its own bank. So I'm really writing this for the guys up at Core, but I guess if they want me to just like splurt this out onto the now I've said this, but it's more of a process once before you because this uses the CPU. It's Java, but it would be the process the assets once before into this weird format, whatever format that you want to go with, before release. That way, I mean, they would be. You could set it as oh God, what was it? Serializable, and serialize them to data files. But of course, because they're not standard formats, they wouldn't be readable by many, if any, at all normal asset readers. Because you're making your own. You're literally making your own. And yeah, so obfuscation, asset side, in a type of process once to get it ready for deployment type fashion. And that way, Yeah, for debugging purposes, you'd have to make sure that all assets were processed and that the fragment shaders that you were using for the release were the ones that you'd have to debug on all that good stuff. But anyway, on the obfuscation side, for those people wanting to secretify their stuff and combine combine a bunch of images into one globby databank that's great for GPUs. But yeah, as far as like folks looking at it, wouldn't be so great. All right, that's really all I had to say for this, and I'll just go ahead and post it somewhere.